Alrighty guys, what's up? Day Daddy here today, and we're gonna go over today how to fix your server or reset or get data off your server if it won't boot, which happens more often than you might think. There's a scenario recently where in our research lab, one of the new students coming in, he did an upgrade versus just an update, and it basically ruined a bunch of dependencies, and it made it so the server wouldn't boot, and we had to go in and do this process I'm about to show you so we could actually pull data off and then just reinstall Ubuntu. But you can actually also use it to fix the current OS if you know what's wrong with it. Sometimes it's easier just to install everything fresh and go from there. But anyway, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get into it. So the first thing you're going to need is a USB with Ubuntu, or with some flavor of Ubuntu. So in this case, this is Ubuntu 2204 server. So we're gonna go ahead and plug this in, and we're gonna work on the top server here. So we're just gonna go ahead and plug it in this guy. So there we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and reboot. All right guys, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna wait for everything to boot, and then once we see the Dell icon, we're gonna go ahead and boot into BIOS, so we can select the boot medium, and then we can select to boot from the USB, and we're gonna boot with the Ubuntu from that drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward from this point, and once we get into the BIOS, we'll go from there. Alright guys, so in this case we're gonna hit FN and then F11, or just hit F11 if you've got it on your keyboard. But anyway, you should see it should say entering UEFI boot manager. Alright guys, now we're going to scum down and we're going to select UEFI boot menu. Alright, so this is our normal version of Ubuntu, and we're going to come all the way down and we're going to select this USB 1 Cruiser Glide. And awesome. So now it's going to give us the option to try or install Ubuntu server. So we're going to go ahead and hit this. All right, excellent. So now it's going to prompt us to go through and start setting up this new install of Ubuntu. But instead, what we want to do is we want to get to the point where we can open a terminal. So what we want to do is go over here to help. So just press the up key to get to help, and then press down, down, and then we can enter a shell. Okay, so now we are root on this new install of Ubuntu server. But what this will allow us to do is this will allow us to interact with the drives on the system, interact with the the file system of the underlying or your normally installed Ubuntu. So for example, let's check things out. So cd into dev. So let's check this out. So we can actually see all of the drives. So there's SDA1, SDA2, SDA3. That's probably going to be our, well, normally it would be your default installation for Ubuntu. So that's where all of your Ubuntu files and everything are going to live, on those different SDA 1, 2, and 3 partitions. SDA-B and SDA-C, in my case, those are other drives that are attached in the back. I think SDA-B is a smaller 2.5-inch HHD that's in a rear drive bay in this server, and SDB or SDC, excuse me, is the same thing. There's just 2 of those. So anyway, you can see all of the particular drives, and then if you want to interact with them, you could mount them. So for example, let's go back. Can't type today. Okay, so what we could do is we could mount these. Let's just cd into mount, and let's create let's say temp 1. All right, so we've got temp 1 there, and now we want to mount. So mount dev temp, or sorry, dev. Let's just do SDB, and then we'll say mount. We're gonna mount it to mount temp 1. So anyway, once that finishes, we should be able to go into mount, and we should be able to cd into temp 1, and there we go. So we can see all of the, so I have a bunch of data stored there. So we can see that, you know, I can access and interact with all of the data that is stored there. So anyway, this is a super useful tool. You know, if you have data that is on a server that will not boot or is fried or whatever the case is, you can try to use this to go in and you know, extract the data. You could also, if you know where the issue is, like for example, there have been times where I've been messing with PAM or you know, some other things, and I've actually locked myself out. Like for example, maybe you incorrectly change your SSH settings, and now you can no longer get into the server. Well, there's a chance that, you know, unless you try this method, you just be locked out and you'll have to reinstall the OS. But you know, this may give you a chance to go in and fix some of those files, and then, you know, boot again, and it, you know, you may be able to save yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, if you have something terrible has happened on your server and you cannot access it or you can't get to boot, try this, and if nothing else, it will allow you to at least extract the data that's on your server before you have to completely reinstall the OS. So anyway, guys, hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video.
All right, guys, brief reminder here. If you enjoyed the content, please consider giving me a like and a subscribe so I continue to grow and produce better and better content for you. If you really enjoyed the content, you might even consider buying me a coffee, and the link for how to do that will be in the video description below. If nothing else, please just give me some feedback in the comments and let me know how I'm doing, if anything's unclear or if there's anything that I can improve on. Thank you again, guys, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.